younger than when he was playing, but I still remember him when he was with the Oakland Raiders and with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And had he managed to wind up on a team with Jameis Winston at the time and with an offensive coordinator that knew how to run a ball control passing offense scheme, Doug Martin and Jameis Winston combined with the Bucs defense would have brought the Buccaneers a Super Bowl. I said it just like that. Okay. Um, Doug Martin was an awesome talent, an awesome ambassador of the NFL, even when he decided to step away from the game for a moment because of a reported addiction to Adderall. He took the responsibility upon himself to do it. No one had to push him to do it. He did it. So, how do we explain how we went from stardom and heroism with respect to self care to being the alleged perpetrator of an attempted robbery, getting into a fight with Oakland police who we have to conclude did something that caused his life to end? You say it's CTE, I say it's CTE, and a lot of evidence proves that CTE certainly has something to do with this. What is CTE? Well, without going into a lot of detail, it's simply what this is the end result of getting your bell rung one too many times playing football. And so, what bothers me is first, you might say this, someone might see this news and think, okay, there's one more black man in prison, who cares? Well, let me tell you something. Since 2001, the rate of black men incarcerated has dropped by half, 50%. That's right. It used to be that if you were born in 1981, they said that you had a a 3 of 5, or 2 of 5 chance, excuse me, of being incarcerated at some point in your life. Now, if you're born in 2001, it's 1 in 5. So that's progress, folks. But black men are still incarcerated at a rate 5 times greater than their white male counterparts. And black women are only incarcerated at a rate of 1.8 times their white counterparts. So clearly, we are not being treated by society as we should. But I'll go a step further than that. It's more than when you say society, you think I'm talking about someone who's just white. I'm also talking about the black folks. And I'm talking about our lack of desire to team up and start corporations and really make meaningful moves in terms of making institutions that have an impact on society in some way. Fashion, automobiles, tech, you name it. All right. Other people have that track record, including people who are African American who happen to be part of groups that do that. But when it comes to us, like let's take the National Football League, the NFL is not taking its responsibility and making sure that black men are on the right path to success. I mean, how else can you explain that Doug Martin could be worth, at one point in his life, $40 million? $40 million. You heard me, $40 million. I'll say it again, $40 million. If you told anybody that they had $40 million, their first comment would be, oh, you're set for life. So how do you go from being set for life to robbing someone's home, which means you don't have things? All right? You would say that's CTE, fine, but where does that come from? It comes from pro football, which means, again, it's in the NFL's hands to take action and make sure this doesn't happen again. And the only way the NFL can do that is to make sure that its players are supervised positively after they play professional football. That's the only way. That's the only way. It means having special hotlines to call if you're in trouble, having a job you can always go to. And I commend the NFL for getting a number of players, both current and retired, involved in, for example, broadcasting. But how about taking a step further? Instead of broadcasting, how about teaching them how to start their own media companies? How about assisting them in teaming up to do that. There's a lot of work that needs to be done to make sure that players don't feel like they have the need to turn to drugs or feel like they're so hampered up here that they're looking for a way out. Because if they are hampered up here, then the NFL has got to take care of them. Full stop. No question about it. It's really weird, to look at a Wikipedia entry about Doug Martin and you read all these positive points in his life, right? And then you read that last one and it's what happened. So then it starts you to ask, well, gee, what happened at those points between this good time and that good news and this, you know, all pro award and that $40 million contract? What happened to Doug Martin? Who was he with? What happened and why? Those are the questions we are asking. But then we have to go a step further because Gerald McCoy put it out there. Do you realize that Doug Martin is, I believe, the fifth Tampa Bay Buccaneer to died from who came in, I believe, Gerald McCoy was on the team, the defensive tackle that was drafted by the Bucs out of Oklahoma. Yeah, that's frightening, man. And so he put out a tweet basically saying, hey, what are you guys doing? What's going on here? Does anybody, and I'm paraphrasing, does anybody care? Yeah, I certainly care. And I'm sure there are others that do too. This should be a wake-up call for the NFL to quadruple down and solve this problem, because that's not happening. I mean, I'm shocked that this was a thing. I'm shocked that this actually occurred to that poor man. This is the muscle hamster. You don't think of him as meeting a fate like that. You don't want to. Nobody wants to. You want to think of him as picking up yardage, scoring touchdowns, making Bucs fans and Raiders fans happy, being part of once a Raider, always a Raider. If it's true that it's once a Raider, always a Raider, that everyone in the Raider Nation should band together and call for change. Everyone in Bucs Nation should band together and call for change. Everyone in the NFL family should band together and make change. That is how we move forward. God bless and rest Doug Martin. 36 years old, too much, too young to die. Just, no. It's not right. See ya.